guys, welcome back to my channel. It's just Jame here, and once again, I'm just trying to change your perspective. I don't need to change your mind. I just want to make you think about something a little bit differently. Today I want to talk about something which is my favorite topic, and that is evolution. Evolution and creation, because after all, there's really only two, right? Have you guys heard of any third option? Because I have not. First, let's be clear, it is the evolution theory. It has not been proven, and there are actually 6 different kinds of evolution, and we have only seen one kind. So let's go through those real quick. There's cosmic evolution, which is the Big Bang theory, which is time, space, and matter. We know that they all had to be created at one time, and so scientists came up with the Big Bang theory as their solution to that. Then we have chemical evolution, which is the origin of higher elements from hydrogen. Then there's stellar and planetary evolution. We've never seen a star be born. We've seen them die. We've never seen one be born. There's organic evolution, which is the origin of life from non-life. We've never been able to make something alive again that was not other than resuscitation, and even that is 99% not effective, I think, something like that. And then we have macroevolution, which is one species or kind turning into another species or kind. And that would be where they say we come from apes, or we come from frogs, or whatever it is that they say. And then we have microevolution, and microevolution is the only one that we have proof of. It's the only one we've ever seen. So microevolution is kind to kind. So Great Dane to Chihuahua. The wolf and the Chihuahua and the Great Dane are all related, right? It doesn't take a whole lot of scientific knowledge to make that pretty obvious. And so macroevolution is the only one that we've ever seen. A lot of people will try to say that macroevolution is microevolution on a smaller scale, but we actually have no evidence of that. We can talk about fossils, but here's the thing with fossils. The only thing that a fossil tells you is where it died, how it died. Sometimes that's not even, you can't even tell that. And sometimes you can't even tell where it died, because you'll find a bone here, and then they'll find another bone a mile away, and they'll swear up and down that they're related. So you really don't know, and it certainly doesn't tell anything about evolution, because you certainly can't tell from a fossil whether it had children or not, right? So if we did find something that was possibly a link, it could very well have been a mutation, just like we have animals born with extra limbs, or different things like that. So a lot of really the only thing holding evolution together is time. The only thing that their only solution is to just keep adding more and more time. It went from millions of years to now billions of years, and they just keep going further and further back, because that is the only way they can explain their theory. And it, again, is just a theory. Now, they don't talk about it like a theory. Now, we can look right here at this textbook that I have. I really enjoy old books because I think that they are super interesting. I think we forget today that books are still important, and that you shouldn't believe everything that you read on the internet. And there is something to be, a lot of people think that we were dumb 50 years ago. I'm arguing, and I will continue to argue, that we are getting worse and not better as a species. I think we're getting dumber. I think it's pretty obvious, and so I really enjoy seeing what people before me have learned. Even old dictionaries I think are interesting, because the meaning of words change over time. And so that is another, which we will get into on another day. But I just wanted to really quickly read you. This is a 1988 Prentice Hall textbook that I got. It was a family member's, and I asked if I could have it because I was interested. It's Earth Science. So right here on page 35, talking about the Big Bang Theory, it says that the Big Bang Theory states that the universe began to expand with the explosion of concentrated matter and energy, and has been expanding ever since. According to the theory, All of the matter and energy in the universe was then concentrated into a single place. This place, of course, was hot and dense. Of course it is. Didn't you know? Weren't you there? Then, some 15 to 20 million years ago, oh wait, you weren't there and neither were they, an explosion, the Big Bang, shot the concentrated matter and energy in all directions. The fastest moving matter traveled the farthest away. Energy too began moving away from the area of the Big Bang. If the Big Bang Theory is correct, the energy left from the Big Bang will be evenly spread out throughout the universe. This energy is known as background radiation. Okay, I died. Let me find another spot. At some time, the clumps formed huge clusters of matter. These clumps became the galaxies of the universe. Like, how could they possibly know? Like, just after some time, again, some time, you just add a little time in there, and then you get a galaxy. You guys, duh. Of course, it's got to be hot and dense, and then with some time mixed in there, and boom, you got a galaxy. This is nonsense. Like, you want to talk about the from the party who quotes science and the people who will fight me on this the most are the ones who think that science is like the end all be all of everything. But you know what real true science is? It's observable. You can do your own experiments at home. You can look with your own two eyes. And in my opinion, and according to the Bible says that you will know me by the works of my hand, that you will know that I did all of this. You can look at the trees and you can see isn't it fascinating? We always talk about snowflakes being individual and being so unique, or thumbprints being so unique, and so everything is unique. There's not one thing that's exactly like something else. And you know what's so fascinating about God is that everything is different and yet everything is the same. There are true principles that are universally understood that work for everybody. Even the idea of the veins in our body, and there are veins in plants and in like water systems in trees that sort of act like veins, and just there are so many things about the creation of the world, like of just looking at nature, that to me screams that somebody did this. It is entirely too intricate for us to have evolved. Let me read one more little thing for y'all, and then I'm going to move on with my point. After many billions of years, all of the matter and energy will once again be packed into a small area. This area may be no bigger than the period at the end of this sentence. Then another Big Bang will occur. The formation of a universe will begin all over again. A universe that periodically expands and then contracts back in on itself is called a closed universe. In a closed universe, a Big Bang may occur once every 80 to 100 billion years. And this, my friends, is called religion, okay? If mine is called religion, yours is too, because I was not there in the Bible, but you sure as Pete were not there at the beginning of the world. You have no idea anything that I just read. They cannot prove that. They cannot replicate it. Moving on. So true evolution requires, and hear me well when I say this, true evolution requires an increase in complexity. You have to add things. So in order for us to have come from the scum of the universe, from nothing, from zero, from the bottom, as they say, to get Mozart and brain surgery, you have to add information. There is no new information being added. What we have is what we get. That is one of the laws of thermodynamics, where matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So we already know this, right? So take a Chihuahua, for example. A Chihuahua has to lose its big gene, if you will, to stay little, to continue to reproduce small dogs. And a Great Dane would have to lose its small gene to do the exact same thing. You're not adding information, you're taking it away. So, with that being said, we don't have any proof of evolution. We can't even, you guys want to know something interesting? We can't even, if you take a donkey and a horse. Now, if you know anything about donkeys and horses, you know that they pretty much eat the same things. They pretty much can use the same equipment. You can keep them in the same place. They both can use the same form of transportation, right? To a layman, you may not know even that there's a difference between a donkey and a horse, right? They both have hooves, but they're very different species. And I can prove that by saying that if you breed a donkey and a horse, you would get a mule. And isn't it amazing how every single time, within 1 or 2 generations, those mules are going to be sterile? It doesn't work. And so this is true of any hybrid. You can breed plants. It's the same thing. Within 1 or 2 generations, it always is sterile. So how then am I supposed to have enough faith that I came from sludge or wherever it is that you think, and that we've evolved into this? That's silly. That honestly is just as much of a fairy tale. Literally, Dr. Kent Hovind, he has a saying where, if you kiss a frog and it turns into a prince, that's a fairy tale. But if you kiss a frog and then you wait billions and billions of years and then it will turn into a prince, now that is evolution. This is silly. It's nonsense. It's garbage. It's rubbish. And if we're going to be teaching it in schools, we should add in the creation theory, if you will. Some of us believe that it's real, but some people believe that evolution's real. It's only fair to give a fighting chance. I don't need evolution to be taken out of schools. I just want the other option put into play. There's been so much damage done by the theory of evolution. Hitler believed in evolution. The Columbine high school students did what they did on Hitler's birthday in the name of evolution because they were told, as all of our children are, that if they go to public school, that they were by happen chance, that there's nothing really, that they just sort of happen to get here, and nothing is really important, nothing truly matters, and maybe your parents love you, maybe they don't, but if outside of your family, you may not have anybody. Sorry, too bad. And it's really, really, really unfortunate. Because they could also be hearing the message that, yes, maybe you did come from an explosion of nothing into something. Or maybe God said it and it was so. And maybe there's somebody out there who loves you and who created you and knew you and knit you together in your mother's womb. I mean, think about how mind-blowing that is. What if that is real? It takes just as much faith to believe in evolution as it does to believe in creation. Here's what it boils down to. You may not believe a word that I'm saying. You may think that I'm crazy and that I've lost my mind, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, like I always say, you have to decide what you're going to believe in. And if you're going to make that decision, you need to see both sides of it. And so often, people are so quick to just rush to the side of science. Well, guess what? Christians believe in science too. Go to type in creation research, the Creation Research Institute. There is a lot of science that backs up Christianity, and it's really unfortunate that people don't know that obviously the media is not going to cover it. We know the Bible says that Satan tries to destroy and try to discredit what God has done. He distorts things just enough to where it confuses us and we don't know what's true anymore. We know that. And he's done that with science. And in a lot of ways, it has led to a lot of damage. I mean, look at the medical system now, because all in the name of science, right? We've forgotten how beautiful our bodies are and how intelligent they are. And at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself. You're not probably going to hear this in church. You definitely are not going to hear this on any college campus, probably anywhere, unless you go to a biblical school. And even then, let me go into this really quickly. A lot of Christians have started the gap theory is the theory that sort of fits evolution into the Bible, and it's pure heresy. And you got to pick it. You got to have one or the other. You cannot fit evolution. They're totally opposite of each other. So the gap theory is where Christians said that there was Genesis 1:1, where God created the earth and it was void. and then there's a big gap, and that's where you put all of the evolutionist time in. And then there's Genesis 1, 2, and then everybody's happy, right? No, you just can't do it that way. There are a lot of people who believe that the Bible is completely accurate. They've mapped out the timeline, and it adds up to about 6,000 to 10,000 years. A lot of people want to talk about like the fossils and things like that, and I'm going to make another video on this subject, but a lot of that has to do with the flood, and a lot of the archaeological findings and the damage done and like the fossils and things like that can all be equated to the flood. So that's a topic for another video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it made you think for yourself. I hope that it encouraged you, because for me personally, this is my favorite topic, because this is really what renewed my spirit, renewed my faith, and sort of gave me this, it just opened my eyes to this. Everything made sense after this. Once I started to learn that there were answers, that there were scientific answers to biblical questions, my faith was restored. And then I was sort of set on this path of just like obsessively learning things and wanting to talk about them. So with that being said, I'm gonna cut this video because I just need to make another one. I would go on for days. So I hope you enjoyed this. Do your own research. I hope this maybe thought you think about this a little bit differently, especially those of you who I'm making this for, who are truly diehard evolutionists and anti-Bible, anti-whatever you're anti, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Give me your feedback. And tell me I'm wrong, because I enjoy a good back and forth. Let's hash it out. And until next time, I'm just Jame, and I promise I'm just trying to change your perspective here. So think about what I've said, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.